Let's
This
get started.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So welcome to session 8 of our EC payroll session. So previously we have seen the prerequisites, what are the things we have covered, like the compound employee API configuration and those relevant configuration, the code value mapping. So those are the basic foundations details are required. And in today's session, we'll be seeing what are the further configurations and what are the different other prerequisites from EC side. And if time permits, also we'll be seeing there are certain configurations in the EC payroll side. So these are very sequential steps in the even in the learning hub or in your implementation guide also. You will be finding these steps in a similar sequence, more or less similar sequence. Okay. So I have tried to capture those things detail here. Okay. So whenever I'm talking about the point-to-point replication, there are certain prerequisites in the EC side you have to ensure it these are in place. It is a very basic thing, nothing much. Just this is kind of a checklist you can say. Okay. So typically in the projects which I have seen in wherever there is a EC and EC payroll, they are going live together, and generally EC configuration starts before your EC payroll. Even the I have seen. Okay. So you have to ensure those what are the different prerequisites to be checked from an EC point of view. Okay. So there are 6 prerequisites. I have checked it out here. So first thing is the provisioning settings for your EC payroll. So those 4 pointers, so which you have already seen earlier. Okay. Now just to recap this thing, like you have to ensure the whatever the provisioning setting is required, you have already access to that. Okay. Second one is your admin access to your EC tenant. Okay. So you have access to your SAP EC admin side as an admin user that you must be having, and all of your RBP must be set up as per the requirement. So as a consultant, you will be having all the roles anyway. But from an admin point of view, so the your EC admin must be having those required access. Okay. So because generally we do not wait for the till the end of the test. So we generally, as soon as you configure, we start the testing, the roles and part of the activities in the EC side. Okay. So for that reason, admin access is also an important activity. Third thing is your EC configuration must be completed before we start. You go to your EC payroll configuration. Okay, so that is the best practices. Okay, so for that reason, I kept it in this prerequisite. So whatever the event region or whatever the EC business rules, whatever the basic minimum requirement configuration is required, okay, that must be in place in your employee central side. Okay, that is the third point. And fourth point is regarding your minimum support pack. So if you are in the latest -1 system, then you do not have to worry about it. But if you are having an old system little, then you have to ensure the support pack. The bare minimum support pack is SP28. But when it comes to EC payroll integration, to act means to utilize all the full range features. Okay, so you have to ensure it must be in SP73. Okay, that is the minimum. To check all the full range of features from an EC and EC2 EC payroll integration point of view. Okay, so you have to contact your SAP basis person for that, okay, or your client IT team. You have to ensure that it must be in SP73. Okay, so these are the different 4 prerequisites. On the top of that, the fifth one, that is an SAP GUI. Even it is an optional, but it is better to use it. Okay, so if you are having SAP GUI, that is good. You will be having better flexibility in terms of all those. So it is easy to use compared to your SAP Web GUI. Okay. So instead, SAP even recommends that you should have an SAP GUI for EC payroll. Okay. Sixth one is it is more related to your infrastructure related stuff. There are certain non-HR related SAP nodes also. It have to be ensured. You have to that must have been applied. Okay. So step number 6 or the prerequisite number 6, actually there is an SAP node for that. Okay, so I have taken a snapshot of that SAP node. It is more related to technical stuff. Even I have not gone through this node. What I have done, like I have asked my SAP basis team to ensure that it is in place. Okay, it is regarding your file transfer from application server to remote server. Some security related files are there. Okay, that must be encrypted. Okay, so all those things, encryption and all. This is from an encryption point of view. So these are the 6 prerequisites you have to ensure before we start your configuration in your P2P integrations from an EC point of view. Okay, so these are 6 prerequisites you have to ensure. Any question here, Rokesh?
Yeah, Niladri. So,
Yeah.
will you please point out, not today,
Hmm.
but remember I kept mentioning, or
Hmm.
at some point in that
Hmm.
3000 pages PDF,
Hmm.
I would want a
Ah,
walkthrough of that PDF where what is, because I
exactly.
remember
Hmm.
in that PDF, you showed me these topics in that PDF itself, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It wasn't
Yes.
through the slides, correct?
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
It was through the PDF, not through the slides. So in
Hmm.
that PDF, if you can point out
Ah.
where these screenshots and these topics are,
Hmm.
that will be really, really helpful because I'm sometimes losing a track between PDF and PPT.
Yeah, yeah. So today actually I have already planned for that. I have expecting this thing because it's a little clungy. Okay, so these are because sequential steps. Okay. So for that reason I have already prepared for that. I was expecting this question from you today. So because I understand there's so many things. Okay. So if you go to your PDF, are you in front of your PDF now?
No, I haven't opened it for last couple of sessions because I was finding
Okay,
it difficult to go through
okay,
that PDF, to be
okay,
very honest,
okay. So
because it
whenever
was
I'm
all over the place and we weren't going in a sequence, right?
Yes, yes, because the sequence that is in the PDF is a different one. The slides is little different. Okay, the pointer which I have shown to you. So today onwards means whatever I have topic. So till now, till page number three, four, previously we have already completed everything. This is the admin side of it. Okay, and the P2P whenever I'm talking about point-to-point replication. Okay, so the actual topic starts from here. That is the page number 478. Okay, and
Okay,
in
so
this,
just give me a second, please. 1 second.
yeah,
I'm opening up that PDF.
yes.
Just
Even
one second.
even I have highlighted here. So what are the topics actually you will be required to whenever you are working in implementation?
Okay, so uh, 1 second. Now those six prerequisites, if I
Hmm.
were to look in that PDF,
Hmm.
provisioning, setting,
Hmm.
EC access, and all that configuration,
Hmm.
where am I looking at?
Okay.
Which page
Okay.
number in those 3000 pages?
Okay. Okay. So certain points you will not be finding here because that I have added it from my experience, project experience. Okay. So that you will not be directly finding here. Okay, so here you will be finding the steps actually. Okay, so the whichever it is in the next which I'll be talking about, the 24 steps for Empress Central configuration, that you will be finding in the PDF, but this prerequisite you will be finding in the Learning Hub. Okay, so if you go
No,
to your
this
Learning Hub,
this prerequisite is still fine, but I
hmm,
remember you showed me provisioning settings, those screenshots, right?
hmm.
So how am I finding that in the PDF?
Okay, so in the provisioning side, you will be finding in the page number 478. So here, the step by step they mention like what are the configurations you'll be doing from a provisioning setting point of view. Okay,
I remember you showed me a proper screenshot
okay,
earlier.
that is only PDFs means that is my PPT screenshot only. Okay, so that you can go to just a minute. I will just note down the page number. So this is my current page. So in the initial slide, whichever I was mentioning, in that actually I have put an indexing. Okay, so that indexing you can follow. Let me go to that slide.
Yeah, that will be really helpful. And sorry
Yeah.
to start
No, no,
on
no.
that note.
No, it is actually a fair ask. So
And
even
and right now this information is very fluid. It's all over the place.
yes, yes, I understand. It is a fair ask. So let me go to that. So this is the indexing which I was talking about. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, so it is already
So
done. So whenever you'll be getting your next updated version, the all-in-one guide, so it will be
so
more, it will give you more clarity.
let's see if we were to look at
Hmm.
that EC side of configuration or provisioning,
Hmm.
which index would it be?
That is your number nine. That is your HRH60 ECP using point-to-point integration.
455 to 900, right?
455 900, yes.
In
455 to
in
900
PDF, in PDF, not
in
in the PPT.
in PDF, all-in-one PDF, 455. But initial topic, if you see, if you start from 455, some of the cover pages and also you will be finding here. And the chapter number 1 is actually not relevant. Like before starting, am I reading the right documentation? Those are some of the pre-topics. How to see, read and documentation in SAP. They have explained it. Okay. So in the second topic, actually, they have explained like what are the different EC payroll topics. Okay. So the high level they have explained it. Nothing much. The indexing and the entire table of content. Okay. So it actually covered. Okay. So what are the latest changes have came up in this particular quarter or particular H1 quarter? So those things they have explained. So for that reason, I skipped the topic number 1 and topic number 2. Okay. So this is again in the URL they have given, like where to find topics related to time off, where to find topic related to time sheet. Okay. So all the
But this
hyperlink
is an implementation guide, isn't it?
this is an implementation guide only. Yes, exactly. We are correct.
Okay. But I remember when you were showing me those provisioning settings, user access, you had showed me some good stuff. If you run
That
into this issue, you will
screenshot.
reach out to SAP or you will reach out to basis.
Okay. So that will be coming in your last 27. Ask me in anything is live session deck, right? Page number 2429 onwards, that you will be getting. Okay. So if I go to 2429.
Yeah. Go please.
Yeah. So this is your entire, my deck starts from here. Okay. The deck which I'm currently using. Okay. Generally, I replace the deck every time the updated one from here only. Okay. So you will be getting all those details here. The day 1, day 2, day 3 and all. So all the provisioning settings and all, if you will be finding approximately, I have not yet made it day wise. So but again, I'll be the next time whenever I'll be updating, I'll be making it a day wise or topic wise, I'll make it. Okay. So that indexing will be more easy to access for you.
Yeah, that will be really helpful.
Yeah,
Very
that I
helpful.
understand. That I understand because that I also realized that I should do that. Okay. So all this configuration which I talked about, right, in the previous session. Okay. So all this setup of your services, your provisioning settings. Okay. Everything you will be finding here
Yes.
with the exact screenshot from the live system. Okay. So all
Wonderful.
these are more practical. Okay. So after page
Yes.
number 2400 onwards. Okay, even if you miss the initial pages, that doesn't matter. If you only go through these slides, it will be you'll be able to visualize. Okay? So your then all this configurations and all activation of your business functions, activation of your provisioning settings. Okay, all the details with a screenshot. Whatever the slides I'm using now. Okay, so you'll be finding. So this is actually the note which you have to refer if you're raising a ticket to SAP. And
Yes.
whenever you're working with you're working in a live implementation, this is the first KBA you have to counter. Okay, so this is the first KBA you'll be using, how to create those initial user that I talked about. Okay, so this is a guide which this is the provisioning settings. Okay, so with the screenshot I have given, like these are 4 things you have to activate. Okay, so this is a practically I have already demonstrated here in this. Okay, but all those things also again it will be some of the things which I'm today I'll be covering, which we have already covered, but it is a kind of a checklist. Like these are the things we will be seeing. Okay, so the 6 prerequisites which I talked about. So this is already there in this guide as well. Okay, so I think it is previously I mentioned something around 4 prerequisites, but I realized something additional things also from my project experience. So I have added 2 more prerequisites. Okay, so this is an evolving guide. Anyway, I update it every a month, and you will be get every month, 2 months I update it. So you'll be getting updated version as well, even after the training completion is over. So you'll be getting always people who are even for the last 1 year. I am providing that updated guide one. It is still evolving. I realize that some of the things to be changed and some indexing to be more done in a better way. Okay, so that I realized, and I keep on updating this section of my guide. Okay, so do not worry about it. So this
And
takes
you will share the indexing of all
yeah.
you can ask with me, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. That is a need of the hour. So definitely, I also realize sometimes I also feel struggle, even if I remember those page number and all. Okay, still
No,
sometimes.
if you can share that, that will be very helpful. And also, today, if you can share with me that PPT again, because last time when you shared, you had shared only session 6, not the whole PPT, right? You had
Okay,
just
okay. This current
because the
draft version, right?
index, yeah,
Hmm.
because this index only is in the whole PPT. It's not,
Hmm.
it wasn't in the session 6. So
Okay. Hmm.
yeah. So whatever you have updated, if you can share that until now,
Sure.
that will
Okay.
be helpful.
Okay, sure. I will be sharing with you that one. Okay. And on the top of that, there is something, there is an all-in-one P2P guide as well, which is not in your this 3,400 pages. Okay. So there is a separate guide that also I'll be sharing with you. This one, this guide which I was talking about. Okay. This is approximately 337 pages. Okay. So this is your, it explains your those all what are the steps which you'll be seeing. Okay. Even if the page number is count is very high, but in terms of concept and all, it is very easy to follow. Okay. So nothing much
Okay.
is there. Okay. So we'll be going through that as well today. Okay. So I'll taking you through, and you can follow those specific steps and all. Okay. So any other questions do you have before we?
No, no, no. Get started, please. That's
Yeah,
fine.
sure. So let me go to now the actual piece. That is my 406. 406. Huh. So these are the my six prerequisites which I have mentioned. Okay, you have to ensure from EC side it must be in place. Okay, so once it is done, there are 24 steps. These are the checklist item you can say. Okay, you have to ensure this have been configured in your EC side. Okay, so what are those 24 steps? So to make it a little easier, what I have done, like we have categorized in a different category. So the first category is like related to your data model. Okay, so from a data model point of view, what are the changes we'll be doing? Okay, suppose if you're going live EC and EC payroll together from the day one. So as a EC payroll consultant, you should be also take participate in your EC workshop as well. Okay, so where exactly you will be filling your workbook and all. Okay, so so that these steps will not be requiring to repeat it again. Like there are certain field. Okay, in success and data model, corporate data model, all those MDF related objects. Okay, those character limit plays an important role whenever it comes to EC and EC payroll integration. Okay, so it will be giving, I'll be giving more clarity when I take you to the that guide as well at the same time. Okay, let me go to the guide and I will tell you where exactly what exactly you have to do. Okay, so the page number again I forgot. That is my uh,
Please do get me the indexing before
yeah,
next session.
sure. Do not worry about it. So this one we have already seen some of the exercise. The chapter number 4 actually. So provisioning we have done with, it is already we have seen it. Okay, but when it comes to succession data model and all, okay. So this is your section number 4.2. Okay, setting of your succession data model for master data replication. Okay, so in this section, if you see, they have clearly mentioned certain field specific value. Okay, so like here in your person info, personal info, okay, employment info, job info. So these are the different HRIS element. Okay, so in the right hand side, if you see, there are some specific configuration for this. Okay, suppose let's say if it is in the your EC configuration in the job info, you made it optional. Okay, but to ensure this ECP to EC to ECP integration to work, these things, this at the field level, you must make this mandatory. This field is a mandatory, like person info, personal info, employment info, job info. Okay, so all these fields must be mandatory. Is it required means mandatory means that those fields in the EC that must be configured as a mandatory field. Okay, So there are the different settings in your HRIS element. Okay. Other than that, in the next step, if you go, okay, the field character. So another step is regarding your setting of the corporate data model. Okay, so whenever you have defined in your foundation object, that is in your employee central, like your company, location, cost center, it may happen that is your foundation object length might be different. The pay group, your pay component, frequency, all these things. But in the, if you see in the recommendation section, okay, so recommendation section, they have a defined a particular field character. The field character must be less than equal to 4 for a company, a legal entity. That is from an EC to EC payroll integration to work. Okay. Similarly, for cost center, it should be less than equal to 10, the character of that particular foundation object. Okay, so character length. Okay, so similarly for pay group, it should be less than equal to 2. Okay, so these are the minor changes if you have not done in your employee central. Okay, so those things, this length restrictions, you have to ensure these are in place. Okay, before you set up your EC payroll integration in the during your implementation, you have to ensure this field characters, this is the length restriction you have to follow, or this is as per the SAP recommendations. You have to ensure we are following this length of the character. Okay, so character length, the length restriction, you have to ensure this you have already followed. This is applicable for all the model, whether it is a corporate data model or a succession data model. Okay, so similar steps you have to follow, like you're in this setting of the country specific succession data model. So here also, if for job info, if it is an HRIS element, you have to ensure pay scale type, pay scale area, pay scale level, pay scale group. Okay, so this must be activated. Okay, so this country of the company. Okay, so this must be activated, and visibility, it should have a visibility in your data model, succession data model. Okay, so these are the points actually for 3 or 4 steps which I explained here. Okay, so that is the initial steps of my EC to EC payroll integration, those operating the data model, and we call it refining the data model. So we are not changing anything from the scratch in the EC data model. Rather, what we are doing, we are just simply changing those character, whatever is for the requirement. Okay, so this is regarding what we have to do, but how we are doing this. So how we'll be doing this, that is covered in your, that is also part of your learning hub simulation, as well as in this point-to-point replication all-in-one guide. These steps have been explained. Okay, so out of these 24 steps, which are the most essential part, it has been explained in this point-to-point replication guide. Okay, so there are, here you'll be finding 16 steps, although in my slide you'll be getting 24 steps. Okay, so there are additional steps which I have included in my slide. Okay, so if I go to the first here, as per this implementation or all-in-one hands-on guide for point-to-point replication, the first thing is you're refining your succession data model. So what are the refinement we'll be doing in the succession data model? Okay, so how to do it, you can find it here in this guide. Okay, so if I explain some of these things, okay, so if I go to those specific field, you must be knowing this.